In this movie, we look at a more efficient way to write out all the properties that we need to set for our text. Now, like a few other things in CSS, when we have a lot of different properties and values that we can set, there exists a shorthand method for writing it all down. Now, we will see that there are more than just what we're looking at now in upcoming movies, because our shorthands will exist for things like background, padding, margins, borders, and so forth. But for now, we're looking at the font shorthand. So this method is going to allow us to specify what font style, font variant, font weight, font size, line height, and font family we want, all in a single declaration for a rule. You may have noticed that text transform, decoration, and vertical alignment are not included in this shorthand. So if you need to set that up, you will have to use separate declarations within the same rule. Now there are going to be two required properties for our shorthand, which is the font size and the font family. And these are going to be the last two items in the shorthand order. So we're going to end up having font, colon, and then font size, and then the font family that we want to use. And that's going to be the minimum that we are going to have. So instead of using font style or font-variant, we just do font as the property. Now our other properties are optional and can go in any order that we want, more or less. If we omit a value in our shorthand, it's the same as setting that value to normal. So if there are any inherited properties, they will be cleared out. So if you do want to use the same properties, you will have to explicitly set those up. If you wish to specify the line height, your line height will follow your size entry with a slash and then the amount. Now, of course, all of this is great and all, but right now you might be thinking, well, I don't see it, so it's not making a whole lot of sense. So let's take a look at an example. And here we have our example where we have the font property, where we are setting the font style to italic, the font weight to bold, the font variant to small caps, the font size to 2M, the line height to 150%, and then the font family to Arial or sans serif. So to clarify a little bit, the only two things that will be required here are the 2M and then Arial, sans serif. All of our other options are more or less optional, except if we omit them, it will set the value to normal for whatever it is our selection is. Also, we could have placed bold in front of italic or small cap in front of italic or whatever order we wanted there for everything before our font size and font family. So our font size and font family must occur in that order and at the end of our declaration. So let's go ahead and let's jump over to our project and build one ourselves. Now we will build a class rule and apply it, but then we will delete the class attribute and the rule when we're done. Now we're going to do that because our project is actually pretty simple and we're not going to require anything as powerful as our font shorthand. But it is definitely a good thing to know about. So let's go ahead and jump on over here to our CSS, and I'll go down to the bottom here. And I'm just going to call this shorthand sample. And I'll do font italic, 900 for the weight, small caps, do 2M, and then a line height of 200%, and then followed with the font that I want, which is Franklin Gothic Medium, and then Arial, and then generic sans serif. So there we go, I've got that set up. I'll go ahead and save that, and then jump over into my HTML here, and I want to go ahead and apply this to the body of the news here. So I'll just set up a class and do shorthand sample. Save that, and then jump over into my browser. And there's my news, and whenever I refresh, small caps, 2M, 200% line height, and it's bold as well as italic. So as you can see, we do have a lot of power in writing a very short declaration that combines a lot of different properties. Of course, if you're doing a lot with your font, this is really going to come in handy. It's also going to save you a lot of time and typing. So I'm going to go ahead here and I will delete this from my style sheet. I'll save, and I'll jump back into my HTML, and I will delete that class as well. Now that concludes our look at the font shorthand.